Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Cara Delane and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings and Cara Delane.
Welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable After Dark. And Ted, I think I found my favorite mask of the event right here.
I think I see it as well. And Cara, we got a great lineup tonight with some wonderful featured guests. And I see some of them have masks. So I want to welcome them. They are Scott Davis from Volley, the #1 BDC engine is here. Coralie Zuoff is here, who wrote the book on 5-star service advisor. We'll talk with her. And Robert, I think that's Robert. That is Robert Miggs, Carter Myers. Robert, how are you?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
Hey, great. And honored to have you all here tonight. And Cara, we got a great lineup and we're live, right?
We are live. We're live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and now YouTube.
Wonderful. And, I think it's important before we get rolling that we, give some thanks to our exclusive sponsor for tonight's show.
Yes, BG Products that you see right there above Robert. BG Products, thank you for everything that you do for the Roundtable and the Fixed Ops community. We wouldn't be able to do this and educate our industry and network with all of these amazing people without you.
And BG Products is the exclusive sponsor of the After Dark show. And looks like, Cara, you paid a visit down to Wichita to the headquarters.
Yeah, I mean, either that or I have a pretty good green screen. I don't really know, Ted. I like to keep it a mystery.
All right. Yep. I know you. Yep, you do. And BG is a part of all of our events, and we're very grateful to all they do for the industry. 53% market share of U.S. dealers. So great product lineup from BG Products. And Cara, what's the deal with the masks tonight? Why are folks wearing them, and what's going on with that?
Yeah, so we have these masks going for our next event called Dare to Dream. Okay. And if you haven't heard of Dare to Dream, it's the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Dare to Dream project. So we are pitching in and trying to unmask childhood blood cancer with Fixed Ops Roundtable this November. So we will be raising funds for the Dare to Dream project in hopes that we can make a great impact to these wonderful families and children out there suffering these horrible diseases.
And it looks like it's going to be another 3-day virtual event.
It sure is. And we got some big players in the lineup this event. So if you haven't got your complimentary tickets yet, guys, make sure you grab them at fixedopsroundtable.com.
And I see the big players, some of them on the screen there. Of course, Cara Delane is one of them. Looks like Tom Dahl from Subaru is going to be here. And Adam Aarons and Liza Borges. And they kicked off our event last year. And they'll be here as well as Dr. Lou, who's the president and CEO of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And it's a great cause. It's going to be the week before Thanksgiving, everybody. And our theme is Dare to Dream, as Cara said. And we'll be helping to transform treatment and care for kids with blood cancer. So I think it's a great cause.
I agree. I think it's a great time of year as well. Being right here, right before Thanksgiving, I think, we can all make an impact by giving back during the season.
Yeah. So, welcome to everybody who's here tonight. And Michelle McLean, thank you for all you do for our industry as well. And Corley, if you don't mind, I got to come to you for, Tully's in the house. So, hey,
Sir
Tully,
Tully.
congratulations on that cover of Fixed Ops Magazine, my friend. So great job with that. So, Tully, we have an author who's with us tonight. Tully Williams with the Nilo Company out in Sacramento, California, just south of you, Coralie. Coralie's up in British Columbia. Coralie is with us tonight, and she literally wrote the book, 5-Star Service Advisor. I got my copy about a week, maybe 10 days ago on Amazon. And Coralie, I'm fascinated by the read and by your background. And I got to ask you, because I know you work with shops, you're going to be on the Fixed Ops Roundtable, on the Repair Pal panel coming up here shortly. But Coralie, what inspired you to write the book?
It had been a thought for many, many years. And then when COVID finally came around, I had it on the back shelf of my computer and finally brought it forward and had the time to work on it. And it was really from talking to like friends and family, and everyone had a horror story for when they got their vehicle worked on, more negative stories than positive. So whenever I was getting interviewed for a job, people would always ask me like, so what do you do when you have difficult customers? Like, difficult customers? That very rarely happens. And usually when it's happened, it's when I've broken my process somewhere. So it made me sort of look at not everyone is operating the same as me. And so I thought I'd put it all down in the book.
And you did, and you've written it really well. And I got to say, you're an inspiration to others in our industry, because not only have you been a service advisor, but you teach service advisors, and not just on the dealership level, Coralie. You do that shops, right? Independent shops, local shops, and some of the big merchandisers. Talk to us about that.
That has been a good experience because you get to see how a lot of different places operate, as well as what sort of training programs they have available as well. Like we have a chain here that let me go through all of their training material, as well as what the dealerships are using as well, or certain brands. So that's really been eye-opening. And I find each person that I talk to has a different way of looking at things. So I learn more from talking to different people too, like different examples and a way of explaining something. Like one female service advisor who had never been a service advisor before, she used the example of a brake fluid flush as in like a transfusion at a hospital. So that was like her way of being able to explain it to customers in her own words in ways that she understood.
Kara, how awesome would that be to have a woman trainer, service advisor, come in and work with other service advisors? I mean, how inspiring would that be?
That's amazing. I mean, just here at our 3 stores in Madisonville, I believe we have 4 women service advisors right now. And, I don't think we brought in any woman that, since I've been here, to train our service department. So I have major respect for you, Coralie. But I do kind of want to ask you, what reactions do you get being a woman walking in and training maybe some really seasoned men and other women that are in the service drive?
I haven't had too much. I haven't really faced too much discrimination, to be honest with you. If I'm working with somebody, I'm very choosy and make sure everybody is on board for learning. And if somebody has a negative attitude or isn't going to benefit from it, there's no point in us working together. So I do send out, when I'm talking to shops about working with them, send out questionnaires and stuff to figure out where everybody is and if it's going to be a benefit, or I don't want to waste their time.
Yeah.
And Robert, Carter Myers, Liza Borges being, and of course she's one of the speakers at the roundtable. You've got a big focus on women in retail automotive and throughout your entire organization.
We do. We got a lot top down everywhere. Our store specifically actually has 2 female advisors. Our Subaru store in the Valley actually is ran by NADA award recipient for their program for women in automotive. She's our service manager at that store, and she has a couple of female advisors there as well. And our Volkswagen store also has a female advisor. So we're definitely we definitely push it, and we definitely encourage it across the board.
And Robert, compliments to you as well. You've been working on a lot of stuff. I talked to Chris Saraceno at the last show, and I know at one time you lived in Pennsylvania with your family. You worked for Chris, and then you took a big leap to come to work and move the whole family, right, to Virginia, to stay in Virginia to work for Liza and her group.
We did. I was a fixed operation director at their Chrysler Dodge Jeep Mitsubishi store, and we needed some little bit of change with everything going on with COVID around the area, and we decided we're going to make some changes, and we ended up down here. And part of that was looking for a group that was going to support us, support our goals, our visions of our family lifestyle, as well as our business thoughts and whatnot. So when I was looking at everything on here, social media drove a big factor in how we ended up down here, just being parts of different internet groups with them. And Scott, our president at Stanton, his mentorship program and stuff that we've gone through and I've been through with them is just been a push and a great deal of kind of a little different from what I was used to. And then, just having somebody pushing us and push me and trying to be the best we can here. So it's been a big step.
Yeah, Scott spoke at our roundtable back in May. Kara, how do I know that? And thank you for jumping in on that. Sean Butler, thank you for being here tonight. Yeah, just hop over to Facebook if you don't have the video. And by the way, great shout out to Sean Butler. He was on a panel earlier today talking about some of the things that leadership is experiencing. So, and Robert, you're kind of like that new breed I see coming into the Fixed Ops Roundtable on the retail side. You got a lot of stuff. You've been on some panels. You're on Joe Lockhart's Auto Avengers panel, Kara. And you got a couple panels coming up, Robert. So, what made you want to be involved with the roundtable? How'd that happen? Was it a move or?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I got turned on to the show when you started doing it remote, which you and I have talked about. The fact that I wasn't able to make it to some of the live events that you were casting at that time, and when everything went remote, just really kind of started jumping in, and realized I wanted to kind of take a flip on fixed operations, the same as I was watching the industry turn and put a focus on it, make it kind of stand out and be predominant, be like the front of the house, and be similar to the retail focus of how sales is kind of ran and finances ran in the front of the house, and bring that to the back and try to do the same things and mirror it back there and really give the focus of having all those abilities around. So
great stuff. And Sean Butler, yeah, Virginia and the entire Southeast is a great place to live. And Robert, really proud of you. A lot of great stuff that you're doing, and we'll talk about some of the things happening on your journey as well. I want to welcome Scott Davis from Volley. And Scott, you got some great stuff happening in the industry. You've been on 2 Fixed Ops roundtables, and let's talk about some of the things that you're doing within the industry.
We're just having a great time. Very lucky. We have a very unique product, and we just love what we do. We're working with the dealers.
And you're not, when I mentioned BDC, you're not the typical BDC company, right? That some of the others that are out there. Talk to us about what you do, because you're very different and unique.
Well, Volley is software, so traditionally a BDC will make calls on behalf of dealers. We're the software that runs their company. So we work with automotive call centers, automotive vendors in North America, and about 300 dealers use us to run their BDCs.
I remember on one of the roundtables earlier this year, you were just on the Roaring 20s as well. By the way, I love what you did on the Roaring 20s about those 10 different metrics that we need to be tracking in the service BDC. But that was really the first time I had heard about you. And Curtis DeGroot, who's a mutual friend, said only amazing things. And Brad Pascal from Fixed Ops Digital, same thing. So it really caused us to take a look at what you were doing. And I'm so glad that you've been on the roundtable now a couple times. And these metrics you just shared, I wasn't even aware that some of those were even tracked.
Well, traditionally, I mean, technology hasn't changed in the BDC in forever, right? Maybe the form of the desk phone has changed. But the cost of running the BDC has doubled in the last 20 years. We brought technology to that BDC so they can lower their cost per attempt. They can measure the efficiency of the agents. They can make sure they're making the most important outbound call when they're not taking an inbound call, and help them put some ROI to their business.
Wow. And you recently, or maybe not recently, but I learned about another part of your technology and what you do. Talk to us about that, because I think everybody watching tonight and on this panel, we've all had our, those robocalls and those spam calls come through. That's probably the most popular call that I get, is that spam. He calls me a couple times a day.
Yeah.
But you've been able to address that.
Yeah. We've all received potential spam on our phones. And of course, our customers, when they were trying to call their folks, were receiving that. And we wanted to solve the problem. We ended up partnering with a company that works with all of the carriers in the space. And what we do is we verify the dealer's entity and then whitelist all their phone numbers so that none of them come up as spam. It's a turnkey solution. The dealer doesn't have to do anything. We bundle it with Volley because we wanted to solve that problem for Volley, but we also sell it separately. They estimate that 30% of all business calls are labeled as spam, and dealers are not making unwanted calls, as the government would call them, unwanted calls. Dealers are calling for oil changes. They're calling on web leads. They're calling on calls. And they shouldn't be labeled. So that's the problem we're solving with that. It's called dealer identity.
Harry, you must get those spam calls too. And I got to tell you, I'm afraid to pick up the call if I don't recognize the number, when it's an inbound call on my cell phone.
Yeah, luckily now we have that feature he was talking about, the say potential spam, but if it's a random number, I seldom answer.
Yeah.
Most people don't. I don't either. So
now there's more to the story though, Scott, because you just recently, in the last month, you're located in Florida, in Fort Myers. Talk to us about that, because we had a show going on that night when the big storm hit, and tell us a little bit about how you fared and the community down there.
Well, we have nothing to complain about ourselves. We're about 6 to 8 miles off the water. The funny thing is, in my neighborhood, my son lives in the neighborhood with his wife. My daughter lives in the neighborhood with her wife. My father-in-law and his wife. My nephew, my niece, my nephew's in-laws, and then my sister has a home. So I wasn't going anywhere anyway. But we went to bed Tuesday night, and we woke up Wednesday, and we were a direct hit. It was. We were lucky. We had minimal damage, and we had power back in a few days. I guess the main thing I'd like to say is the response was unbelievable. It's easy to watch the news and say that things could have been done differently, but I can tell you right now, and first of all, I have nothing to complain about. We had an inconvenience of trying to figure out how to make a cell phone call, or drive out to the interstate to get our emails or such. But the federal government helped, the state government, the utilities, Florida Light and Power, the grocery store, all of the vendors. The response was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. You just being here, I wouldn't even imagined things could mobilize and give people the help they did. It was still a lot of very sad, tragic things that happened here, but there are some bright spots to seeing the response that happened.
And I saw there was that one dealer, I think it was Sutherland. Carmen, good evening. I saw that dealer who got on there and talked about not having inventory, and how a lot of vehicles have been wiped out, and there's going to be flood vehicles for some time now. And automotive dealers around the country helped rally to that dealer and other dealers' cause as well.
It's funny you say that. I should be a little smarter here. I was driving somewhere yesterday with my wife, and I'm like, geez, the Toyota store doesn't have any cars. And then when we drove back the other way, we're like, oh yeah, the inventory got sucked out of the area, and pretty much all the dealers are looking pretty sparse right now, but they've held up pretty well. I drove past a handful of them today. They all have sign damage, but otherwise they've held it pretty good, it looks like.
And Carmen, you're saying Florida strong. I know you're in Florida as well. A good friend of the Roundtable, he's a technician, Marco Zwanenberg, is south of you in Naples. And I guess, they missed the storm. It skirted them this time. But he was telling me, I mean, they were without power for days and days and, having to drive long distance to get groceries and, things like ice to be able to cook. And, just like you said to me earlier in the green room, it was a long storm, right? It took a long time to go through.
Yeah. Irma 5 years ago was like a freight train for 40 minutes and it was gone. And the winds weren't anything that big. I'm from Iowa. I'm used to winds. But this thing lasted like 8 hours.
Wow. Well, glad you're safe and, so glad the automotive community is rallying too. So, automotive is very, very generous in that respect. Got some photos from your folks' families and want to show them tonight if that's okay. And Robert, I followed you on Facebook and you've been going through this transformation and journey. Talk to us about that a little bit if you would.
So as I said, one of the things that we go through at the dealership, we actually have a mentorship program that's voluntary by the staff at the 5 stores that we have in Stanton, and then Scott Simons and his assistant sit in. It's over our lunch hour. It's all dedicated time to us. Nobody's paying to be there, and nobody's getting paid to be there. I guess you can you can say that for it. So it's all in our time, and we set out and we put goals out there of what we want to do personally and professionally. And one of my goals was I was tired of being a little overweight and not taking care of myself. So we were working through that. I wasn't really getting anywhere. And I got a little kick in the butt that said, here's where you're at. You're going to get it done and you need to get it done. So I'm at 100 days now. That was just from this last Saturday. That's everybody from our CMA stores here in Stanton.
Wow.
That's our super team. So Scott's right there behind me. That's our president and executive manager of our group. We got general managers there. We got sales staff, accounting office, F&I, sales managers, wives of associates and stuff. So we were all out there pushing each other for an hour on a Saturday morning at 5:30 in the morning, pushing ourselves out there. So it's been a lot of fun.
Coralie and Kara, he's been posting every day now for, like he said, Robert said, 100 days. And I'm watching the progress and, I see other people commenting like Liza Borges is on there, right? And we're all like cheering you on and we want to see those posts every day. And, we may not comment every day, but we are following to see what you're doing.
No, I appreciate it. It definitely helps. And, that's the main goal of the whole thing at the end of this is, if it's inspiring or helping somebody else to kind of get on their journey and compete their journey, that's well worth it then.
No.
Wonderful. And your family's in a lot of the pictures that you post. Tell us a little bit about them.
I do. They definitely support me. That's my wife, Veronica, there. We've been 22 years together. That's my youngest son, Dominic. He's 10. Just a spitting image of me at sometimes and definitely a handful all the rest of the time. And then I got 3 older daughters. I got my oldest is Natalia. She's 16. Ariana in the middle there is 14, and then Juliana to the left is 12. So I got high school down to middle school and elementary school. We got it all the way through.
You got a lot going on, and you're working on yourself. Big move. You're running the store and your family. So, great job to you and a great inspiration there as well, Robert.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Coralie, you're in British Columbia. Let's talk a little bit about you because you've got some family as well.
Yeah, I do here in Canada, British Columbia. I'm on Vancouver Island, and we have our capital of the province here. So I live right there, which is pretty neat. We have lots of fun recreational facilities. And
you've got, I guess, 2 girls, right?
Yeah, the younger one is Danica, and she's 12, and my older daughter is Shelby, and she's 14, and then my husband, Clinton.
And is Clinton in the car business or no?
No, he's in the paint and decorating business.
Okay. All right. Good.
But he recently just decided he loves cars. He discovered the Alfa Romeo 4C, and then he fell in love with it.
Oh, wow. Okay. And you got another photo that you shared with us here as well. What's going on here?
Yeah, so just pre-COVID, there was a technician named Ian who got me involved with autocross. So it's a cone obstacle course that you go through with your car and see who can get through the fastest without hitting the least amount of cones. And that's my 14-year-old daughter in the passenger seat. Just at 14, they're allowed to come into the pit areas and ride along with us now. So she's been having lots of fun coming along with me.
Wow.
I love it. And this photo here this is not a Canadian photo, I don't think.
No, I scuba dive in Canada as well.
You do? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
This was at Chemainus at the barges there. So there's sunken barges that you can go check out. So that was a neat day. I went with a different club.
Okay.
And I have many extreme hobbies. Those are just two of them.
All right. All right. Wow. Cool. And I know you mentioned to me that one of the independent locations you've worked with, which is a big chain in Canada, is Canadian Tire, which is kind of like the Walmart up in Canada. Carrie, you may have heard of Canadian Tire. They're a pretty big outfit. And Corley, you've worked with their tire centers as well?
Yeah. So actually, I started off my journey as a service advisor at Canadian Tire. I started in the parts department, and it was sort of where I found my sweet spot after trying out getting my first year automotive technician course, and then trying sales as well. So those were kind of like the porridge is too hot and the porridge is too cold. And then after I got hired in the parts department, they realized that I had a knack for it and that I was really enjoying it. So I moved to as a service advisor there. And then some years later, I've been able to work with some of the locations on training their people as well. So it's come full circle, I guess.
And the Canadian Tire dealers, they are independent. They're very independent and they're very progressive, I have found, because I had an office in Canada for 10 years. And I found that a lot of Canadian businesses, Scott, were not very trusting of the American businesses. And it took a while to break into Canadian Tire, so that they would, trust us and allow us to work with them. But once they got going, Corley, with a lot of the training that we provided, Canadian Tire just did a whole lot. I thought it was great. So
they're very good at making sure their employees and service advisors and everyone there can explain vehicle repairs to their customers.
Scott, if you can break into Canadian Tire and get into Canadian Tire, that is amazing, because once a product is in there, it's like Walmart. Okay, that thing is going to sell. And
that's like the highlight. The only flyer that everyone in Canada looks at when it comes with your newspaper is what's on at Canadian Tire. What can we go buy? So as long as getting your car worked on, getting your new tires, you can go get your KitchenAid, get your hockey gear, buy your plumbing stuff, your garden stuff. They have everything.
And they had a great retention tool, as I recall. They had Canadian Tire dollars. Do they still have that?
Yeah, that's on credit card now. So we don't get the paper money anymore.
All right. Well, there you go. That dates me. But I remember that was pretty effective because people, did use those, and that was great at bringing people back in. Scott, you got a family as well. Let's talk about your family here.
Yeah, I feel like kind of a slacker that I didn't put in action photos like Robert and Coralie, but yeah, there's my three boys and my son-in-law at B-Dubs for a recent football game. So my little guy is not so little anymore. He's a sophomore in high school, and my oldest, the tall guy, is 28. And so yeah, that's something we do quite a bit. Good at eating and watching football.
All boys. But you have a daughter as well.
Yeah, I have a daughter. She's married to the fellow on the left there. There's my daughter with Pearson again, and we're in Costa Rica in that picture.
I like that. Nice scenery there as well. And in fact, you recently had an addition to the family from what you.
Yeah, you can do the math on this one. So I have to be a certain age there. Yeah, first grandchild, October 6th, and her name is Elizabeth, and beautiful girl. Looks like she needed a haircut almost immediately. The hair she had, but it's great.
Oh, congratulations to you. And you got a photo here of your volley family as well. I didn't realize you are really growing in terms of your business empire.
It's been great. That's not all our crew, but that's a good part of our crew at Top Golf, and yeah, we're like a family. We love the folks who we work with.
Are they spread out all over the country, or are they just in one spot?
Most of our success team folks are in Florida. Our developers are all over, and our salespeople are scattered in all over as well.
And one last photo. This is a very formal shot. This was last summer. Is that right?
This was in August. So I in between the hurricane, I sandwiched some family events, but I couldn't part with my daughter, with everyone, with just anyone. But this was her wedding at the end of August, and nice guy, Pearson, she married, and that's our family picture. So
great photo.
Yeah.
That's very beautiful. So congratulations to you and your family as well. So
yep, if I get on again, I'll bring an action photo though. Gosh dang it. I got a warning.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll take responsibility for that, because I should be clarifying that as action photos that we need, Kara. So
only the coolest photos you have of your family.
Yeah, I hear you. I'll do better. I promise.
All right. So we got a Fixed Ops Roundtable coming up. It's in November. I think it's now 4 weeks away. It's called Dare to Dream. I want to announce a couple speakers that we have. But before we do, with the masks, Kara, we've had a number of people wear them, like Coralie tonight and Robert. And you've had them saying a certain phrase in some selfie videos that I've seen. What is that exactly?
Yes. So with the mask on, you have to say, "I dare you to unmask childhood blood cancers at the Fixed Ops Roundtable this November," and you take it off.
All right, so I've got one here, and it's from our great friend of the Roundtable with Repair Pal, and let's see it.
Hello, I'm Kathleen Long with Repair Pal, and I dare you to unmask cancer with us at the Fixed Ops Roundtable this November.
Yes.
She did great. So we're going to be promoting those on social media, and everybody's welcome to do that if you'd like. You don't have to. But I also want to announce that the lady you just saw, Kathleen Long, is going to be a keynote speaker at the Fixed Ops Roundtable coming up in November at the Dare to Dream. Kara, gonna have to give us those dates again. And one more person I want to announce tonight, another keynote speaker, is we're going to welcome back this fella, Joe St. John from AutoFi, is going to be a keynote speaker at the Roundtable as well. So, Kara, Jedi Joe brings the fire.
I know. I'm excited. I mean, Kathleen and Joe St. John, we're going to have some energy on this roundtable.
Yeah, big time. And a lot of great panels and a lot of great discussion. And I think we're at time. Great show tonight, everybody. Thank you so much. Scott, thank you for being here and letting us, find out a little bit more about you and your family and your work family as well. So great stuff.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Coralie, I saw you on social media not long ago, and I talked to Kaylee Filio at Parts Edge. I know you were on her podcast, and I saw that panel coming up with Repair Pal. I said, you know what? That might be a good fit for her. So thank you for being on that panel that's going to be coming up in November.
Oh, yeah. Lots of fun. Thank you, Ted.
And Robert, I know you're just getting warmed up, right?
Whatever you need. I'm here, Ted.
Yeah, I know it. When's that date again for the event, Kara?
It is November 15th, 16th, and 17th, all virtual. So grab your complimentary tickets at fixedopsroundtable.com. And don't forget to grab your mask because it's only 4 weeks away.
Wow. We're getting good at this thing. So, right. Love it. Well, thank you, everybody. And great job tonight.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Robert. Scott, glad you're okay down in Florida. We've been praying for you. And Coralie, nice to meet you tonight. And thank you for watching tonight and commenting along with us. Sorry for the difficulties on LinkedIn. Won't happen again. But we will see all of you on Monday at 8 p.m.